Hey everyone, Mandy here from Human 2.0. Today we are doing a full body mobility workout. We'll do a quick warm up, a little stretch at the end, and that's it. So you do need a few things for this one. If you have some kind of a dumbbell, not a kettlebell, although you could use kettlebells, but we're going to do this exercise a bit different today. So if you have a dumbbell, light preferably, then grab that. If you don't have a dumbbell, you could use something like a soup can just to give a little bit of feedback, a little bit of weight in your hand to provide feedback for the exercise so you can get a real sense of, how you're moving through it, so that when you do have a dumbbell, you can sort of just substitute that in, but you could use a can. Some sort of light plate. If you have that, I'm going to use just this little one here. 2-3 pounds, nothing too heavy. Again, you could use your can for this one, so you can always substitute that in. Other than that, just double check here. I think that's all you need. So just if you have those things, grab them. If you don't have any of that stuff, you can still do the exercises with me. We're going to go through a few exercises that we haven't done before, that maybe you haven't done before, so it might be a little bit interesting for you. But yeah, that's about it. So grab your water, get your space set up, and we'll get started. Okay, so let's get started with the warm up. We're going to keep it really simple today, and we're just going to sort of do a light jog on our feet. We just want to get the blood flowing through the body, sort of jog forward and back in your space. Try not to trip on your mat. Moving backwards, forwards, just sort of around your room. If you don't like jogging, or if your joints can't handle any kind of impact, you can always do some kind of just a march on the spot, but nothing too, nothing too big. Just trying to slowly get warmed up. A couple more seconds. And then relax. Let's just take those arms, do some easy arm swings across the body. And then maybe some kicks to the front. Alternate. My legs are sore today. I was doing some hamstring work on this lovely machine here, and I can feel that today. So even just this little kick is not easy. Couple more. Last two. And last one. Kick. All right, shake it out. Let's just do a bear crawl really quick. So coming onto our mat now, hands on the floor. We're just walking across our space. Nice wide fingers. Really think about peeling those hands up off the ground and going backwards, pushing away, trying to keep your heels down as best you can. If you have to bend your knees a little more, or make the distance between your hands and your feet a little greater, that's fine. Let's do that one more time. And backwards. I always like to use my primal movement stuff in my warm-ups. And then coming all the way up, roll your shoulders. All right, let's just do that one more time. So nice light jog. Starting to feel a little warmer already. Maybe make bigger steps. Back and forth. Couple more seconds. And then bring it down arm swings. Banging my mic. Watch my arms here. Really opening up through the chest. And kicks to the front. Alternate. Think about leading with your heel. So as you kick your leg up, really push that heel out. Get a nice stretch through the hamstring. Warm up through the back of your legs. Kick, kick. Let's do 2 more. Last one. Kick. And then shake it out. Back to our bear crawl. Wide fingers. Pressing up through the ground. Legs as straight as you can get them. And bringing your feet as close to your hands as you can. But do what you can. And one more time. And going back. And then roll yourself up. Roll your shoulders back a few times. Good work, everybody. So that's your warm-up. Because this is a mobility sort of routine, it's kind of like, for me, it would be sort of a continuation of my warm-up. And then after that, you know, would be a good time to put in any kind of real strength work. But we're not getting to the strength today. We're just going to keep it to the mobility. So it just is sort of a continuation of the warm-up. So grab a quick drink, and then we're going to jump right into those exercises. Okay, so we are ready to get started with our mobility. We have 6 exercises that we're going to do. Standing, down on the mat, a little bit of combination of both. But let's start down on the floor with that plate. Okay, and again, if you have your can, I will show you how to do it with the can as well. So this is called a side lying rotation. So what you're going to do is you're going to come down onto your back. And you're going to keep one leg straight, and then the other leg is going to come across your body onto the floor beside you. And you sort of have a 90-degree bend at the hip, at the knee, everything. And then this arm on the same side is going to extend out. You can do palm up. I like to do it so that my hands come together. And then I'm going to take whatever it is I'm holding on to, and you can do this without any weight at all. But I like to add just a little bit of weight. So if it was my soup can, I would just take that arm and I'm going to draw a big circle around behind me until I'm looking in the opposite direction. And then slowly reverse that and bring it back to the start position. Now, if we want to be, you know, really mindful of this exercise and intentional in what we're doing, there's a few things to keep in mind. So we're going to start in our start position. We're going to take that weight and that arm all the way around behind us until it gets to the point where you want to really stop doing it and fight through the exercise, or you want to bring your arm up. You want to get to the spot where it gets really hard and then slow it right down and then come around. So the idea is to work through that sticky part, okay, to get the best work out of this exercise. So we're going to reverse the direction, come back, starting to get hard right about here, but I want to slow it down and then rotate that arm around. And we're going to do it, let's just do it 3 times in each direction. We'll count that as 1. Okay, so palms together to start, and then as you open it up, your palm starts to face the ceiling. Okay, so we're going to come around. Can't keep palm down forever. Right about here, it starts to turn, palm up, slow it right down through that sticky part, and then come around till you get to about, opposite to where you started. You don't have to come all the way down to your bum because it's kind of useless at that point. It's really this rotation through the top part of the movement that's the hardest thing. And back here. We're going to do that one more time. We're going to go nice and slow. And we're also going to think about trying to keep that hand as close to the floor as possible and keeping that arm as straight as possible. And then reverse. Go slow. Right there, it's sticky part. And then coming back to the start position. And bring your arms together. Bring that leg around. I'm just going to switch it around to this side so you can see my face. Okay, and same idea. So the inner leg is straight, cross it over with that top leg. Now you may need something. It's always possible to put some kind of weight, like if you had, some kind of ankle weight or something, just to put it here. Just sort of keeps your leg on the floor, because as you do that rotation, you might find that your knee is starting to lift off the ground. I've got my other weights in the way here. Okay, so palms together, reach around through that sticky part, open it up, try to keep your arms straight, hand close to the floor, and reverse. If you've never done this one before, you might want to do it without weight. Back to the start. 2 more times. Really open it up. Think about lengthening through your body, reaching away as far as you can with that arm. Coming back. I don't want to rush through the sticky part. And I'm bagging into all of my weights here. Too many things. One more time, nice and slow. Reach away, hand close to the floor. Palm is up now. Really feel that shoulder working and coming back. Palm facing down, and then back to the start. Good work, guys. So I'll take off my weights, put that one down, rock myself up. Let's see what we have next. All right, so the next exercise is a stationary lizard. So we like to do lots of primal movement at the gym, but in your house, you don't always have it as much space as you might want to do those exercises. So I like the lizard, but again, maybe don't have as much space in this room to do it. So what I'm going to do, actually, we're going to start here in a plank. I'm just going to do it on the spot and sort of change up where my feet go and where my hands go in order to sort of simulate that lizard movement, but keep it on the mat. Okay, so you're going to start in your plank, nice strong plank, so wide fingers on the floor, core is turned on, got your glutes squeezed tight, and you're going to step forward with one foot. Okay, you might not come all the way up as high as your hands. Maybe you're down here. Doesn't matter, but step as far forward as you can with that foot. Now from here, you want to lower yourself down. But if I was doing the lizard, my hand position would change slightly. I'd have one hand in front and one hand a little closer to my foot. So I go from side by side to one up top, one close to my foot, and then I want to come down as low as I can toward the floor and then press up. Okay, and then put my hands back in the regular plank position, bring my foot back and switch sides. So stepping forward, I'm going to put this outside hand up higher, the inside hand close to my foot, and then I'm going to come down as close to the floor as I can. So really feeling the stretch through the inside of your legs, those hips, knees are working, foot comes back, get that hand position back to the start. And let's do that just 3 times on each side. So that was 1. Step forward, outside hand goes up, inside hand comes down, and I'm going to sink down and then press up. As you come down, think about it like you're doing a push-up. So you don't want this elbow to come out to the side. You want it to come back as close to your body as you can get it. Now for me, I know that my right foot forward is my is my hard side. So I can't come down quite as low on that side, but I'm working toward it. But I really want to think about where that elbow is going on that outside arm. So here we go. Elbow comes in toward your body, sinking down, and then press back up. Hands together, foot steps back, and last time on each side. So foot comes forward, outside hand up, inside hand down. I definitely can't come down as close to the floor with my right foot forward, but that's why we're doing it. Step back, left foot in front, outside hand up, inside hand close to your foot, and then sink yourself down and press up. Good work. That's a tough one to get your head around all of those different moves. And like I said in the beginning, we're doing some exercises that are a little bit different today that you might not have done. So that's always makes for an interesting workout. Okay, so that is your stationary lizard. Next thing that we're going to do is called a table rotation. I love this one. So we're trying to hit all of the joints in the body, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, and also get some spinal rotation into our workout. So that's what this exercise is for. So what you're going to do is start in a table position. So you're just looking up you're on all fours, so hands and feet, looking up to the ceiling. And for this, I like to have my hands sort of out to the side. But as I do the rotation, they're going to kind of turn in different directions. But this is where I'm going to start. So hands out to the side. And I want to think about reaching across, like I'm going to put that hand on the floor beside me because I want to flip over. But I want to go nice and slow and very controlled. So I'm going to start my start position. I'm going to reach across. Don't lift your foot yet. Reach across as far as you can until you can't go any further, and then twist. Okay? Now I'm on my hands, not on my knees, just on my toes in that low bear position, and I want to go one more time in the same direction. So now I'm going to lift this outside leg just like I lifted my arm, coming across like I'm going to place it down over here, okay, without lifting my hand yet. Go as far as you can until that hand is forced to come off the ground. And then you're here, okay? Now we're going to go back to one flip, the other flip, to where we started. So arm comes first until it can't go any further and the leg has to move. Flip it over, slow and controlled. Outside leg. Remember, don't lift that hand yet until you absolutely have to. And then back to this position. And then you can sit down. So that is called your table rotation. We're just going to go there and back, and that's it. Okay, but when you're doing it slow, it's definitely not an easy one to do. All right, table rotation. Then we're doing, kneeling hip extension with a little reach back. So a little more spinal mobility with some hip extension. So really thinking about bringing those hips forward on this one. And there's, different ways to do it, just like any other exercise. But we're going to start on our knees about shoulder width apart. The real key to this one is really getting those glutes fired up and squeezed tight so that you're not doing all the work with your back. You want to use your glutes, use your hamstrings, everything to really bring yourself backwards and do that twist. Okay, so it could be you just reach back. Maybe you can't do more than this. Maybe you just have a finger on your calf and you sort of reach out to the side. That could be you. So you're just sort of putting your finger down on your calf, little reach to the side, and that's it. So that's level one. Level two, for me, I can't get quite down to grab my leg, but I can grab my heel. So I sort of just grab it with my hand and then reach around and look back and then bring it back to the start position. But remember, it's all about the glutes. Okay, so you got to get those glutes squeezed before you even do any reaching at all. So squeeze your glutes. I'm going to grab my heel and I'm going to reach around. And then reverse, always keeping those glutes on until I come back to the start position. So again, 3 times in each direction. Pick your level. If you can reach down and grab your calf, you're a yoga person, you can do that, then by all means go for it. Okay, but for me, grabbing my heel, got those glutes squeezed tight, and reaching back and looking over my sort of my right shoulder. Other side, grab my ankle or my heel, reach back, a little bit upside down, and back to the start. Squeeze those glutes, grab my heel and reach, trying to keep that arm that's behind me straight. Squeeze my glutes, reach back, grab my heel and reach, and then back to the start position, and then relax. And also anytime I'm doing, lots of back work, any kind of rotation, any kind of extension, anything like that, I like to just in between do the reverse. So let's just give it a little bit of a cat stretch to bring everything sort of back to neutral. And then bring it down and relax. Next exercise, we have 2 more. So let's do the deck squat since we're down on the floor. Okay, so again, like any other exercise, this one has levels to it. So you're going to start in a seated position. And maybe the only thing that you do is slowly roll yourself down to the floor. It could be that. It could be a reverse sit up for you. And then you come back using your elbow or your arm to give you some support. But if you can, I'm going to roll it down as controlled as I can, as slowly as I can. And then I'm going to lift my knees up, use my hands, push my legs behind me. Maybe you can get this far, but you can't touch the floor. That's fine. I'm going to try to get my feet to touch the floor. And then I'm going to come back again, nice and slow. But as I come to about here, I'm going to use a little momentum to push myself up. Okay, so I didn't have quite enough momentum there, so I'm going to try that again. I'm going to roll it down, lift my feet, bring my toes to the floor behind me if I can. Then as I come down, even though I'm controlling it, I'm going to use a little momentum and come up on my feet and then press to a pike. Now you could stand up from here, but I'm going to keep it to a pike and then just go through that. And we're going to do this 5 times. So now I'm back to my start position. I'm going to sit it down, roll it down, use my hands, bring my legs behind my head, and then roll it up, come onto my feet, up into a pike, and then that's where we're going to start. So we're going to do that 3 more times. So I'm going to bring it down, sit down to the floor, roll it down, feet come behind me, and momentum a little bit, come onto your feet, and then pike. If you can do this with no momentum, I mean, that's the ultimate goal. It's just total strength moving through this whole movement, but you probably will need to use a little bit to get yourself up onto your feet, if you can even do that. This one looks easy, but is really not. And pike, and we're going to do that 1 more time. Okay, so we're going to bring it down slowly to the floor, roll it back, touch the floor behind you, roll it up, and then pike position. and then bring it down. So parts to this exercise would be just getting the roll down. That might be the first thing that you learn to do. Maybe just bringing your feet behind your head a little bit would be something else. But then on the roll up and getting onto your feet, I'd say working the negative is easier than trying to get up from here. You can play with this. Like this, I do this just as an exercise. I'll be sitting here, and I'm just gonna try to get onto my feet, press onto my feet. You wanna try to keep your knees together. That's even harder still, but this is something that you can work on. Definite core strength in all of that. But I'd say that probably going from here with your feet together, bringing your bum as close to the floor as you can, and then coming down and rocking back is probably where I would start with that one. So there's lots of sort of different positions that you can work through, try them all, and then try to play with it and put it all together. Again, it looks like it's easy. It's actually really not easy. So you need to have great ankle, knee, hip mobility, core strength to just do that little sequence there. But it's a fun one, and I definitely recommend working through that one. Okay, last exercise we're going to do, and then we're going to run through the circuit one more time, is a windmill. So if you have your soup can, I'm going to show you with that first. So you're going to bring your feet wider than shoulder width apart. This foot here is facing forward. This one is out on an angle. I have a little bit of a bend in this knee. I'm going to take my weight. So it's a bit different with the dumbbell, but starting with the can, what I want you to think about is reaching up and then bringing your palm so it's facing the back as much as possible. Because the idea here is to do a full twist with your arm, twisting the can or the dumbbell or whatever it is all the way around as you come down into the windmill, as you come down to the side. So if we're going to start, we're going to face with our palms facing behind us. So that palm is back, arm is reached up, elbows locked as best you can. And then you're going to reach down the side of your leg, looking at the can, trying to keep that palm facing back as long as possible. So this is where the shoulder mobility comes in. So I get to about here and it's just, I can't keep it there anymore. It's going to slowly rotate, but I'm going to actually purposely now rotate it so that my arm twists as far around as I can make it and I get to the bottom. And then from here, I'm going to press up and I want to keep that twist. Okay, so I don't want to unwind until I'm absolutely forced, pressing up to the ceiling, pressing, and it's twisting. I can't help it. It twists out of that position. Okay, so that's the windmill. That's what it would look like with a can. And I'd suggest practicing with that, something light like that to start. But if you have a dumbbell, you're going to press it up. Think about keeping your wrist locked and everything is pressing up to the ceiling. So I don't want any weak wrists. I don't want to see, you know, your hand flopped back. I want you to really press strong through the shoulder, through the arm, right up through the wrist. And then twist it so your palm is facing backwards. And for this one, you're always looking at the weight. So you're always looking up. You know where your hand is going because it's going to follow your body, but you want to look up at your hand. So here we go. I'm going to follow my leg down, try to keep that twist until it twists. As soon as it starts to twist, that's when I'm going to purposely twist it around as far as it'll go the other way, trying to keep that wrist strong. So I'm down at the bottom. I've twisted as far around as I can. Now I want to come back up and don't unwind, pushing up to the ceiling. Don't unwind until it just does that all on its own. And then back to the start. We're going to do one more. So just 3 on each side. You really have to think about this one. Okay, so I'm not going to twist it until I have to. And then when I have to, then I'm going to purposely twist it all the way around as far as I can, go as low as I can. Now I'm going to come up. Don't unwind. And then it unwinds on its own and down. And this exercise, again, looks easy, is not easy. if you start to get good at it and you start to, add some extra weight to the exercise, then it's even harder. Okay, so where are we here? This foot straight ahead, this foot out on an angle, little bend in the knee. If you're not that mobile and you just can't come down to the floor, that's okay. Follow it down as far as you can, but you're still going to look up to that weight. Okay, so press the weight, palm facing back, arms locked, wrists strong. We're going to follow our leg. So maybe, you get to here. Then if that's as far as you get, then do the rotation in that bottom position. Okay, but if you can come down further, then obviously that's the goal. And this takes balance. Feeling that twist. Now I'm going to twist all the way around. So now I have to come up, but don't unwind. Don't unwind until it forces you to. The top, 2 more. Coming down. And twisting. Bring it all the way around. And then coming up. So this is what we say in our gym is a gymnastics body windmill. You can look up gymnastic bodies online and twist. And as their name suggests, it's lots of gymnastics based stuff. And then palm to the front and down. I think that was 3. We're going to say that was 3. Okay. Put your weight down, grab yourself a drink. You've learned the exercises now. We'll work through them a little bit quicker on the second round, but get yourself a drink and then we'll get back to it. Okay, so let's get back to the side lying rotation. You can think about how hard that first round was. If you found it too hard, even with the weight, then put the weight down. Don't use any weight. You can do this very effectively just with your own body. So I'm going to be on my back. I'm going to press myself over, bring that top leg across, palm facing up, and then I'm going to bring my hand to meet it. I'm going to use my plate, and then from here, we're going to go reaching around as far as you can. And just like in the windmill, try to keep from unwinding until you absolutely have to. So right about there, when I'm a little further than halfway, is when I rotate through the shoulder. Now I'm palm facing up and I'm going nice and slow. And I'm going to bring that weight around, reach back behind me, and then reverse. And yeah, I'm trying to keep that knee on the floor. And then rotate. And then back to the start. So just 3 times total, so 2 more. Think about reaching away. Reaching away. And I get to about here, the sticky part, going slow, even stopping there is good. Twist, and then reach behind. Back. There's the hard part. And twist, and then back to the start. So, yeah, your body is telling you where you might be weak. And that's where you want to really take your time, slow it down, and come around. And last time coming back, twist, and then back to the start. Hands come up. Bring your leg back to the regular position or back on top, and then flip around. Okay, so knee comes across. Move down a bit, palm facing up, hands together. And slowly try not to flip that hand until you have to rotate it, and then around to the back. Coming back. Reach nice and long right here through the transition. Twist. That's one. Reach away. And slow, slow, slow. Opening up through the shoulders, armpits. Really feel that work. And back. And twist. Let's do one more. Reach. Getting into the groove here. And last time coming back. Rotate and back to the start. Good work, everybody. Bring it back onto your back. Rock yourself up. Okay. We are moving on to our stationary lizard. Okay, so into your plank position. Fingers nice and wide. Okay, strong through the body. Core is turned on. Squeeze your glutes. Step 1 foot forward. So if your right foot is in front, you're going to take your left hand a little bit higher. Right hand comes close to your foot. And then you're going to sink down, keeping that elbow coming back toward your body. And then press up. Okay, reposition your hands. Step that foot back. And then other side. So left foot in front. Right foot comes higher. Left hand comes lower. And then sink right down. Opening up through those hips, a little bit of upper body strength going on here. Reposition your hands, foot comes back, and 2 more times each direction. So right foot in front, left hand high, right hand close to your foot, and lower. Stretch. Press up out of that, reposition the hands, step your foot, left foot in front. I'm starting to be able to step a little higher now. I'm doing this a couple times. Move your hands and then sink down. And then push up. Reposition. 1 more time, each direction. So left hand up, right hand low. Sink down as low as you can. This is the last time you're going to do it. Push up out of there. Reposition your hands. Step your foot back. And then left foot in front. Right hand is high. Left hand is low. And sink down. Push up. Back to your start position. And then lower everything down. Just a little stretch back before we move on to the next exercise. So, are we going to do our right table rotation? Okay, so up into our table position. Remember, I like to start with my hands, so going out to the side. They're going to move, but that's okay. That's where I sort of start. Sort of the easiest way to do it. Having your hands facing forward is harder on the shoulders and just doesn't make as much sense. So this is where we begin. We're going to reach around with the arm. Don't move the legs. Just like everything else, don't move the other part of your body, or don't unwind, or don't do anything until you absolutely have to. So I get to here, I can't go any further, and that's when I'm going to flip my foot around. Okay, so here I am now on my hands and feet. Same thing. So I'm going to take this outside leg, reach behind me. I know where I want to place it, but I don't want to lift this hand yet until I can't move anymore, and then I step. So it'll just force you to go really slow and to work through those sticky parts. So that's the point. Remember, wherever it's hard, that's where you stay. Work there and get better. So moving the hand. I'm not going to lift my feet yet. really get that rotation through the back, and then come around on my hands and toes, lifting that outside leg, and then I'm here. Good work. And then bring it down. Nice work. So that was your table rotation. And then let's do the deck squat. That's what we're going to do next. So remember, if all of that is just too much for you, I want you to work on just a sit-up negative, okay? Or from here, you can come up onto your feet and just work on coming from your feet to the floor. That would be enough, okay? Because all of those little transition parts are sticky parts that you need to work through. But if you can do, if you're beyond that, then you're gonna work with me and we're going to roll it down, bring the feet behind your head, touch the floor, and I'm gonna see if I can just sort of, it's like I'm gonna slide my feet out a little further. So if I touch down here, I wanna slide out a little bit further, and then bringing my feet back down, keeping my knees as close to my face as I can. I want to keep everything as compact as possible. I get to about here, just before my tailbone's going to come down to the floor, and then I'm going to rock, and then up into my pike. Okay, so you do need to use a little momentum, but you're working just from the from the squat to the floor, gently place down, roll yourself back, and then slide the feet a little further, bring it in, knees close to your face, and then rock yourself up into your pike, and then down again. Here we go. We're going to slow it down. Always controlled. I said slow down, but I'm just speeding it up just a little bit. I want to do 2 more from here, and I want it to be very fluid. So you're going to go a little bit faster, but it's still controlled. Okay, so placing your bottom, legs behind you, really reach out with those toes, knees close to your face, and then up onto your feet, and pike, and then last time, coming down, slowly down, roll it back, reach out with those toes, knees close to your face, and then rock yourself up and into your pike. And that's it. So that is your deck squat. So we've done our table rotation. Right, let's do a kneeling. We did our deck squat, but we have to do that kneeling hip extension with the rotation. So we're on our knees. Feet are out behind us. Again, it could be just, you could be touching the back of your leg. I mean, if you can't reach your leg even, it could be touch the back of your leg, reach out to the side, okay? But you want to go further and further and further down and reach further and further back. So it goes from the back of your leg, maybe you're just touching your calf. If you're at my level, then I'm going to grab my heel. If you can grab your calf, actually put your hand around it, then by all means do that one. Okay, so glutes squeeze first. Very first thing you're going to do is squeeze those glutes on, reach back. I'm going to grab my heel, and I want to reach back behind me and look, and then come out of that and come up. Pause when I get to that back position. Just hold it there. So glutes on, grab my heel, reach back, look behind me, hold it, come out of it, and then coming up. So this is working toward doing a bridge. Sort of an easy option for bridge work. Squeeze your glutes, grab my heel, reach back. I'm trying to go a little further each time. Come up out of it. Take a breath, squeeze your glutes on. I'm gonna grab my heel. I'm gonna reach around and then lift out of it. Last time on each side. Squeeze your glutes. Grab your leg or your foot. Reach back. Come up. Last one, guys. Glutes on. Grab your foot. Reach. Really feel that opening through the hip flexor. A nice stretch through the quadriceps, right down through the front of your body. The reason why I like this one so much, or one's exercises like this one, is because we sit all day, we're like this. So that we don't have a bad back, so that we are strong and we are balanced. You want to do the reverse. So anything you can do to open up your body, stretch out through the hip flexors, stretch those quads, is something that you want to do, definitely. Okay, so we are down to our last exercise, which is our windmill. So you either have your can, I'm just gonna grab a quick drink, working here. This is mobility, it's hard. Especially if you're taking your time and working through things the way that they should be worked through. I forgot to say this at the start, but whenever you're doing an exercise one side of the body, start with your weak side. So I started with my right, should have started with my left. Don't always remember, but that's fine. So whatever side is the weak side of you, the one you have the most trouble, pressing the weight up or doing the rotation or whatever it happens to be, start with that side so that you can give the most energy to that exercise. So we are pressing up with the left, and we are going to step and reach down to the right. So that left foot goes straight ahead. I'll just bring this down for a minute. Get your feet set up first. So left foot straight ahead, right foot out on an angle, a little bit of a bend in your knee. So you're not totally locked out like this, a little bit of a bend in your knee. And then you're going to bring that dumbbell up and press, and then palm facing back. So that's a little detail. Remember, strong wrist. So I don't want to see this. Strong wrist. It doesn't need to be completely straight. I like to have a little bit of a little angle on my wrist for this one, but it's still strong through the wrist. And then I'm going to bring that palm facing back before I move, before I do anything, okay? Now, always looking at the weight when you're doing this, your hand is just going to follow your leg down, and you don't want to unwind again until you're forced to unwind. And then once the unwinding starts, then you twirl it all the way around as far as you can go in the opposite direction. And then from the bottom, you're going to push up without unwinding. Push up, push up, push up. It unwinds by itself. And then you can bring the weight down. So you can do this one, bringing the weight up and down between each rep. You can keep your arm up the whole time and do it from here. I mean, it's just different movements. It's just adding more movement or not, it doesn't matter. But for the windmill, you're thinking about that rotation and the twisting. So that's where your focus is. So we're going to palm facing back, wrist is strong. We're going to come down the body, watching the weight. We're unwinding now. Now I'm going to purposely twist it all the way around until I can't twist it anymore. I'm down as low as I can. I'm still looking up. And then I'm going to push up, push up, push up. And it unwinds close to the top. Let's keep the arm up. Last one. We're going to come down. Palm facing back as much as possible. It is twisting now. I'm going to rotate around, 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 down to that bottom position, and then pushing up. So think about really pushing that hand up toward the ceiling, strong through the shoulder. It unwinds, and then weight comes down. Switching sides. The side you're working on, foot goes forward. The other side goes out on about 45-degree angle. Little bend in your knee. Push that weight up from the shoulder. So strong, straight up as much as you can. Strong wrist, and then palm comes back. Looking at your weight, follow it down. And then I'm rotating, purposely rotating now, coming around all the way. Stop in my bottom position. Think about pushing that weight up. Pushing up. Don't unwind. Don't unwind. And it will all on its own. Keep the hand up. Let's go. coming down. It's twisting. I'm twisting all the way around and then pushing up. Press, press, unwind. Arm is getting tired. Go from here, come down. Palm is facing backwards. Now it's twisting. I'm going to purposely twist it, coming all the way around and down to the floor as low as you can, and then pressing up. Pushing up. Don't unwind. And then from here, all the way. Dumbbell to the shoulder and down to the floor. Good job, everyone. If you stuck with me through that, that's a lot of hard work today. So we did our side lying rotation. We did our stationary lizard. We did our table rotation. We did our kneeling hip extension with the reach back. We did our deck squat and our windmill. And that is it. So I'm going to grab a drink. Then I'm going to stretch. You're going to do that with me. And then you will be done. So we're going to finish with our stretch. I want to do the frog. And then I think we'll finish. After that, we'll just kind of work into a straddle position, and then we'll finish there. So they're both doing sort of the same thing. I kind of think of them as the same sort of exercise in just a slightly different position. So I want you to open your legs as wide as you can on your mat. And you'll probably want a mat for this if you're not working on a carpet or something. It's a little bit difficult for your knees and then for your feet. So the other thing you're going to do is put your feet so that they are pointing out to the side. So you're flexing your feet, not pointing your toes. It just makes it that much harder to do this one. And then you're going to come down on your elbows. Now, maybe that's too hard and you want to just stay up tall. That's fine. You can be up on your hands. But the idea is to sort of sit back with your hips in this position as far as you can go. I'm going to come down onto my elbows. And I wiggle in and out of this one. So, you know, you get down and then maybe you can move your legs a little further apart as you sink back. And maybe a little bit of pulsing in the start, you know, just to sort of get used to it. You're just down here. But the goal is to bring those hips back. So it's almost as if someone had a band around your waist and they're pulling you backwards. That's what you're trying to do. So sit your tailbone down to the floor. I mean, impossible, right? But that's the goal. Opening up through the legs, really feeling those hips working. And even if you get in this position, you go, okay, you know, it's not the most comfortable thing, but I tell you that if you sit here long enough, it's not the funnest position. And that's what we're going to do. So we're just going to stay here. We're working. Really feeling those hips opening. See if you can bring the legs a little bit wider as we go along. Sit back a little bit more. Breathing. And now we're going to just do a little bit of PNF work. And all it is you're going to think about driving your knees into the floor. So you're going to think about closing your legs. Floor is in the way. You obviously can't close your legs, but you're going to think about doing that. So I just want you to think about really pushing your knees down into the ground. Press down into the ground. And we're going to do that for maybe, 5-10 seconds. Push really hard. You're pushing the floor away from you. And then you're just going to relax. Relax and see if you can just sit a little bit more, a little bit back, a little bit further back. Getting those legs a little wider. Feeling that stretch. And then let's try that PNF one more time. So you're just going to press the knees into the floor. Pushing down. And then relax into the stretch. My mat is sticky and my legs are sticking to the mat, but I'm trying to just sink a little bit lower, even if it's just like a millimeter micro movement, you know, deeper into the stretch, that is the goal. These things don't just, you know, you don't go from not being able to do it to just sinking right into a stretch. It just is very small incremental movements. And here's Lionel. Hello, Lionel. You must want something. Oh. And we're just going to hold it for a couple more seconds. Now, to come out of this stretch, I have a dog who's coming to see me. Hi, Teddy. All right, we're going to have to come out of the stretch. So in order to come out of the stretch, what I want you to do is think about just bringing one hip down to the floor. Okay, it is a tough one. Coming out of it's almost the hardest part. So I want you to think about bringing one hip down to the floor. And then once you get it there, then you can sort of wiggle your legs together and you say, oh my goodness, that was hard. Wiggle your legs together and then you can push yourself up. And then just coming up to a kneeling position. I'm just going to quickly take my dog out. I want you to get into a straddle, seated straddle position, and then we'll finish there. So back in 1 second. All right, so the dog has been taken out. Now we're going to finish, hi Teddy, with a straddle. So we worked on our frog, you know, opening up through the hips, and we're just going to finish here, not as taxing, you know, we just want to think about bringing our heart rate down and getting back to our normal rest rate. We just want to think about getting back to sort of normal before you get up and move on with the rest of your day. And sit up nice and tall. Think about your breathing. So let's just do a few breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Breathe in. Exhale, one more. So purposeful breathing, good to practice your breathing. If you're feeling stressed out, you can always do some kind of directed breathing, you know, where you maybe breathe in for 3 seconds, out for 3 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever it happens to be. I like to do that a little bit at the end of my workouts. But yeah, just maybe stretching over to one side just a little bit. And then to the other side. And then maybe reaching both arms over, a little stretch through the hamstrings. And the other way. And back to center. And that is it. So thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed that workout, give this video a like. If you want to see more of that, you can leave a comment and tell us what other kinds of workouts you'd like us to do. Check out all of our different playlists for hip health, knee health, shoulder health, back health, all of that, regular workouts, primal workouts, mobility workouts, kettlebell workouts. We have it all on the channel here. So check that out. And otherwise, it was a pleasure training with you today, and have a good one.